Have you ever wondered about stealth camping, dispersed camping, campground camping? I found out all of these are essential for long-term sustainability of van life or car life. My name is Stefan and I have been living on the road for over 5 years in my self-built camper van. And what I found out might surprise you. Oh, baby. Also, this is my second cup of coffee because I spilled the first one all over the bed. I don't want to talk about it. I didn't get the electrical. If you see any mess back there, now you know why. Where to park for the night? Let's start with stealth camping. Now, I'm not going to make a whole video about stealth camping. I've done that in the past if you want to check that out. But let's start with that. I started my van life with a lot of stealth camping because I didn't want to pay for campgrounds. And I didn't want to drive very far because gas. Nowadays, I do less and less of stealth camping unless I have to be in town. I do have a weekend job, which I have to come back to. When I'm working at that weekend job, then I'll stealth camp because I can just drive down the street, sleep, go around and take a shower in one of the gyms. In that scenario, I almost always stealth camp. But in general, I usually stay in like 3 cities if I'm stealth camping. In each city, I have around 5 spots that I can move around each night. I switch from one city to another. They're really close together. And at this point, I also know about the whole street cleaning, dates, and all that stuff, just so I kind of plan ahead. And I usually take it further where I know there's better Wi-Fi, there's spots near cafes. I go to the cafes. At this point, I know where I can get Wi-Fi if I want to watch anything at night or do some work. However, lately, I have been trying to go to either dispersed camping for free, and that's like for 3 to 4 nights. Or if I don't feel like driving, I'll just, there's a few campgrounds in town, I'll just go there and spend my $20. We'll get into that in a second. The reason I like dispersed camping or public lands is because, well, the obvious, it's free. But that's not the only thing. Usually, most of free camping or public lands, they have a lot of space, so there's a lot more privacy because not everybody parks on top of each other like some campgrounds do. I also find that I'm usually more immersed in nature, which is what I love to do. And it's easier for me to make these videos, to film, to go around and run wild. I'm not gonna have somebody like, oh, what are you filming? What are you doing? It's like, it's fine when people come and ask, but it kind of cuts into my filming schedule. Now my van, this van right here, is pretty much self-contained, so I have everything I need. I have a fridge from water to cook, and I do have an outside shower. During the summer or warmer days, I'll utilize that. Obviously, I can't stand up in it, so I can't have a shower inside. It's pretty easy for me to go dispersed camping. Also, a lot of these places could be like out in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of them don't really have any cell signal. That was a problem before for me. Nowadays, I do have Starlink. They're a lot more accessible because now I can have signal and just let people know where I'm at, just for safety aspects, and of course work online. As you may know, some of these places have no amenities, if any. Some of them might have like a pit toilet, but they don't really have any garbage service or anything like that. I kind of use pack it in, pack it out kind of policy, leave it cleaner than when I found it. So if you want to see a link, I'm not gonna go through that too much. I do recommend to check that out if you plan of dispersed camping, just so we protect those places. Where I'm at, a lot of these places are not close to where I need to go on my weekend job. They're about a few hours away, hence sometimes I'll stealth camp because I don't feel like driving 2 to 3 hours to a place just to come back 2-3 hours, be back on the road to go and work at my weekend job. Now, campground camping. At the beginning of my van life, I used to avoid these like a plague. I didn't want to pay the money. I thought it was too expensive, which it ends up being, especially if you're staying for a few nights. Some of them can go up to like $50 to $60, but some of them are around like $10 to $15. Depends on a lot of things. That's when doing a little bit of research does help out. It could be many reasons why they vary in price. I mean, location, amenities, how popular they are, how easy they are to get to, how many there are in the area. If it's an area there's a lot of campgrounds, chances are they're gonna be cheaper. It all varies. Now, over the years, I kind of changed my tone a little bit, and this is why I find that they work for me and maybe they can work for you. Like I mentioned before, they are usually a lot closer to where I'm at, a lot easier to access. There's a few around where I work, so I'd rather drive the half an hour, pay the $20, which is what they cost where I'm at. From my calculations, they may not be correct, but I'll say it really quick. The amount of money I would spend on gas to drive the 2.5 hours to 3 hours to get to the dispersed free camping, and then the time to come back and gas to come back, ends up being a little bit more expensive than paying for a campground, 20 bucks a night, and I usually stay a night or two tops. It's still cheaper and I don't waste my time driving. Now, if I end up staying like 3 to 4 nights, it's not worth it for me, because it adds up really quickly. Then I would drive over to the free camping and stay there for longer. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Also, these campgrounds have rangers. You know, they come and patrol around, so it's a little safer. They do have rules, so I obviously respect the rules. And because it's a campground, you're supposed to camp there and you don't get bothered by anybody unless they're really close and, you know, people are really close to each other, which does happen quite a bit in campgrounds. That's another con for me in campgrounds. I don't have as much privacy as I would like. Now, rangers usually also do come at those free sites, so they do patrol around, but much less. I mean, sometimes I see them for the 3-4 nights, sometimes I don't see them for the 3-4 nights. They usually always kind of check to see if people follow their fire restrictions, because I'm in California and that's really important, as many of you may know. And then they also check to see if people create their own fire rings, which for the most part, most places don't allow it because of fire restrictions. Now, here's the biggest reasons why I actually do love to come to campground once in a while. I can fill up with water. Some of them have working showers. Some of them haven't had a working shower in many years. But if it does work, some of the showers are included, some of them you have to pay for. Most of the ones that I've been to, ooh, coyote, look at that. Wasn't that cool? By the way, where I'm at right now, where I'm filming, this is a campground / day use, which I'm in right now, but it's also a wilderness park, so you get to see cool animals like that. It was really small, so I'm not really sure if it was a coyote or a fox. It looked like a coyote to me, but they also have foxes here. Getting back to Dispersed Camping, I'm so happy that I saw that thing. Basically, it has amenities, and as you know, if you lived on the road for a while, you know these are gold. And if you haven't and you're thinking about doing the van life thing or just living on the road, these are gold. There's some motorcycle driving like crazy. So what do I do these days? What do I think? Well, I do all of them. I like to stealth camp when I can. If I don't need to drive anywhere that fast, then I'll just stealth camp. Like I said, I have my spots everywhere. I do like to go dispersed camping for the most part. What I actually end up doing, if I go and leave and go dispersed camping, and I'll do some research beforehand, and then the last night before I come back, I'll go stay at a campground so I can use the facilities and do all of that stuff, and then go back on the weekends and do it all over again. That ends up being a very good combo for my schedule, because at the beginning of the week I'll go on freelance and camp there, and then I can do all the filming and all that stuff, and maybe do a little bit of editing towards the end of the week when I have to come back, and I can go to the campground, usually use all the facilities, wind down, relax, even do some editing and working on a laptop. I always edit. It never ends. Editing is always present in my life. Now, if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments below. If you're thinking about this lifestyle, I'm hoping that this video helped you or gave you some insights or some ideas or some knowledge. I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.